Karen, just to be clear, you didn't do it.
We know who did it, Steve. We know. And we know who spearheaded this cover-up. You all know.
Yes, we do.
If John was beaten up and attacked in that house, who did it?
We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. And it's not for us to know. Somebody other than Karen is responsible for that, for the killing of John.
Yeah. Roberta in the truth zone, mic hitting raw. Spotlight shining, she exposing the flaw. Debunking the myth, breaking their facade. This is Glass City, respect the squad. On these NYC blocks where the skyline flex big. Roberta Glass slicing lies with a truth rig. Innocence frosters, your stories unravel. She's a map through the madness of gritty gravel. Glass don't bend and facts don't break. She's the storm that's called, you feel the quake. Exposing tales stitched with crooked seams. Justice in the lens, shattered fake dreams. Screams about killers, painted heroes in disguise. She burning propaganda with fire in her eyes. No glamour for the guilty, she call it straight. She backs victims, the voice stay awake. Stats and receipts, no spin, no clutter. Cold cases whisper, she cuts through the mutter. Truth's her tempo, don't confuse the beat. She's standing for the real while you taking a seat. True crime's a block, facts the artillery. Spinning those lies, yo, she checks that misery. Tabloid tales get smashed, no time to play. She's glass hard, break the false and save the day. True crime's a block, facts the artillery. Spinning those lies, yo, she checks that misery. Tabloid tales get smashed, no time.
Okay. How is everybody? Hello, Lisa. Hello, Darkside. Hello, Kat. Hello, Lucy. How is everyone doing? Wow. So I talked a little bit about this yesterday, but there's been some, I guess the real story today has been in the filings. We'll talk all about the new filings that have come out, which way the judge went. As far as yesterday, we saw, you heard my frustration and Hank Brennan's total frustration with the court, because the defense has had a tactic. It's a tactic to not hand over discovery. So if you don't know what discovery is, it's essentially the evidence that you're going to use, the witnesses, what they're going to say. And we often talk about it in true crime having to do with the state, meaning they didn't hand over something that was exculpatory towards the defendant or towards the accused, and there was a Brady violation. So that was a Brady violation if you don't hand over discovery. But we don't hear much about it from the other side, which is the defense also has to hand over the reports from their experts. And it just seems very curious to me that the ARCA experts don't have a report in time for trial. It seems like they're trying to once again sandbag the defense. The Commonwealth. The defense is trying to sandbag them. And boy, is Team Karen Read working overtime to propagandize the public and make it look like Hank Brennan is so dirty, and he's handed over more discovery than he has to. Anything that Hank Brennan gets, he hands over. Things he doesn't have to. He says he calls it a broad view of Rule 14, which has to do with discovery. So if you write Hank Brennan, so say you're to write Hank Brennan and you're like, hey, Hank Brennan, I think you should talk about the plumber, which I think he should, in trial, or any other ideas. He will hand that over to the defense. He doesn't have to. It could be we've seen things from anonymous emails handed over to the defense. But the defense does not reciprocate per usual. Very much like Karen Read's personality. Takes as much as they can get and gives as little as possible because, of course, they want to cheat to win. They can't win just using all the evidence, the overwhelming evidence of her innocence, or even, here's another way they could win, poking holes in the Commonwealth's case. Pretty airtight, and I don't know what they have as far as the car data. That's going to be a real revelation. My understanding is it should show exactly what her car did and when and at what time, because this is a more complete view of her car data. Last time, the defense expert downloaded it and got an incomplete data from her car. Strangely benefited Karen Read. So they had to kind of put it together with the sort of approximate times, and you can see her car hit something. And it's not 5:07 in the morning or 5:08 in the morning or whenever she love tapped John O'Keefe's car to try to give herself an alibi. But boy, they're working overtime, calling Hank Brennan a hired gun for the defense, for the Commonwealth, excuse me. They're working overtime to kind of brainwash the Free Karen readers because it all seems to be falling apart. And one of the ways that it fell apart, and I am not one to say that every time someone takes the fifth, it means that they're hiding something. People take the fifth for all sorts of reasons. But in this case, when you have Aiden Kearney who says, I'd love to testify, I can't wait to testify, I'm a great witness, and I'll play some of that tape. I have nothing to hide. There's absolutely no evidence. There's nothing on our phones between Karen Read and myself, and we know Hank Brennan has all the messages between Aiden Kearney and Karen Read. I would love to testify, and then he takes the fifth. It looks incriminating. So I'm not going to jump to it the way the other people have in this side of the fence going, well, anytime anyone takes the fifth, it means they're hiding something. No, people take the fifth for all sorts of reasons. And frankly, even if I were up against someone like Alan Jackson and I had the opportunity to take the fifth, or Hank Brennan, or John Lewin, someone who's really tough during cross, I would take the fifth if I could. If it's an option to me, I'd take it. So I'm not going to cast aspersions on people taking the fifth just to take the fifth. But let's talk real world here. Real world with what we know about Aiden Kearney and the way he operates and the way Karen Read, and more importantly, this is more important than Aiden Kearney, is the way Karen Read and her lawyers have operated in this case. They've operated like criminals, like a mafia, by intimidation, by witness intimidation, by cheating, by withholding evidence from the Commonwealth. And the judge, her punishment was last time round, because they did this last time around, was to do a voir dire. Boy, that was pointless. A voir dire the day before? You can't talk to your experts. You can't, the day before someone's about to testify, what can you do? And this has been a pattern with Judge Cannoni. It's always been a little, too little, too late with Judge Cannoni. Acts way too late. She should have put a gag order on this trial years ago. Years ago. What is she thinking? Is she scared of the free Karen readers? And then I think, no, she's just in line in all ways. She's an innocence fraud lawyer. She's an innocence who became an innocence fraud judge. And boy, it must have been frustrating defending guilty person after guilty person. Well, when I get to be a judge, I'm going to put my finger on the scale and make it as easy for the defense to win as possible. Because I hated losing time after time with my guilty killer clients. Predators and killers, always getting convicted. I'm just going to put my thumb on the scale. So let's take a look at Aiden Kearney, then we'll get into some of the new filings. Actually, you know what? I changed my mind. Let's go through today's filing. So she says they have to hand over all discovery concerning ARCA by the 18th. Does this give Hank Brennan enough time? I'm curious what everyone else thinks. So that's like this Friday they have to hand it over by, right? No. Today's the 17th. It's tomorrow. They have to hand over everything concerning ARCA. And why they want to withhold this from the defense is, my feeling is that they're getting ARCA, they're using ARCA to do new tests and new ways to rebut the Commonwealth's witness. We heard a little bit about that in trial, and they want to keep those reports, and they might be telling the ARCA witnesses, don't write reports. We've already lost the best thing we ever had, which was that we could call you neutral, unbiased witnesses. They never were, but they at least could not be totally outed as a lie when they said that. Now they can't really say that. They still do. They still try to say that, but we all know it's a lie. And if they tried in trial, they're going to get heavily rebutted. Hold on one second. Thank you. By Hank Brennan. So let's take a look at this. This is the Commonwealth moves for an order, and it says, in addition, by April 18th at 5 p.m., the defendant must disclose to the Commonwealth any oral representation, agreement, or understanding. It is hereby ordered that on April 18th at 5 p.m., the defendant is to produce to the Commonwealth any outstanding discovery under 1, 2, and 3 of the Commonwealth's motion. It is further ordered that by April 21st, 2020, at 2025 at 12 p.m., the defendant must disclose to the Commonwealth any testing underway, requested, or contemplated as that is not completed. What is that going to do? That seems awfully late. No? 21st. Was that Monday? The day before trial? Just curious. Let me check in with the chat. What do you guys think of this? Seems awfully late, no? I mean, if he weren't complaining about this all along and Judge Kearney did nothing. Yeah, so what happens if they don't? Great question, Jill. They might get a good talking to. There might be another voir dire. What happens if they don't? Right, great question. What if they hand over some of it and they said, "Oh, we tried to comply. We just couldn't." Again, somehow they can't. She is spineless. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But boy, is she putting her thumb on the scale in favor of Karen Read in this case. Also, she determined that Jim Crosby cannot testify to that the dog bites are Chloe's, even not Chloe's on his arm, even though they have a mold made of Chloe's mouth. Because dog bites, even though they identify humans from our teeth impressions, you can't identify a dog from their impressions, teeth impressions. This sounds like, I don't know enough, but to my ear, just hearing this sounds like something pushed forward by defense lawyers. These kind of studies like, oh no, dogs are so similar. Really? But humans aren't? Human mouths aren't? Is it our dental work? Is that what makes it different? I don't know. To me, it just sounds like if Chloe's mouth is wildly different, and we know it is because there's no bottom jaw marks on John O'Keefe's arm because it's not a dog bite. I don't understand why you can't say that, but okay. She's like, you have an uphill battle. That's what she said yesterday to Hank Brennan about the dog bites, but it's not only that he has an uphill battle, it's that she will not let Jim Crosby say that the marks on John O'Keefe's arm couldn't have come from Chloe. He can talk about the mouth, he can hint around it, but he can't say directly. Oh. Lazy Susan Arca, alternative reality crash conclusion analysis. Hired guns for the defense. Hired guns for the defense. Turtle riders in disguise. If I could only make the acronym work. Okay, let's get into Aiden, the irony of Aiden. Let's get into the irony of Aiden Kearney taking the fifth, shall we?
I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anything you say, fifth. Go ahead, ask me a question. Did you? Fifth. I have a secret document.
So at the Norfolk courthouse, Law and Crime was caught in a hot mic moment. And I thought this was fascinating. So they're looking for people to interview around the Norfolk courthouse in Denham, Mass. Listen to this.
No one else to get, right?
No, that's it.
Okay.
That's the meeting.
My first day here. That's what I thought. All right. Very good.
Father sometimes here.
Okay.
He'll say a couple things. I don't think he was here.
Okay.
There's Turtleboy, who's kind of popular.
No,
too.
I don't. I'd rather not.
Like, and I think everybody's had enough of
No,
it.
I don't care. Please. I'm done.
Because the idea of Spanky calling me to.
So Turtleboy is out of fashion. He's done. Everyone's sick of him. Everyone's sick of Aiden Turtleboy Kearney. It's over. According to Law and Crime. Of course, Aiden Kearney will say, that Law and Crime doesn't mean anything. They're passe anyway. It's already into the future. But on the Karen Read case, he says he's the he's the award-winning journalist. That's what he calls himself. The blogger calls himself. The disgraced blogger with 16 witness harassment counts against him calls himself. But he's really trying to impress that him taking the fifth doesn't mean anything, that it was really a First Amendment issue, and that he writes, worth pointing out that our motion to exclude me from sequestration listed all sorts of First Amendment arguments that would have exempted me from sequestration. We included the First Amendment stuff last. Judge Cannoni, my words, not his, focused on the Fifth Amendment argument because it was the most open and shut way to allow our motion, since she would have no choice. If she focused on the First Amendment stuff, she would have to recognize that I am an award-winning journalist with tremendous influence. She wouldn't want to have to do that, so she focused on the Fifth. No. No. It's like, are you a witness? Yes, in this case. I think he would have been called, too. And someone brought up, well, couldn't they give Aiden Kearney a limited use immunity like they gave Wendy Adelson in the Dan Markel murder case? But that will so complicate his prosecution for witness harassment. If they're not serious about it, they should have given it to him. They're not going to go forward with this case, but it sounds like they are. 16 witness harassment counts. It sounds like they're going to go forward with it. But it will so complicate because you can't, oh God, it brings up all these issues. You can't investigate, or you have to prove that you didn't investigate from anything they said on the stand under immunity, or that they're not being punished for anything that they said under the stand, the immunity. It's a very complicated mess to get into, to give him immunity. And for what? I think his text messages between him and Karen Read are going to say it all. But here he is saying, please, Hank Brennan, put me up on the stand. Please, please put me up on the stand. And he was representing it like he beat Hank Brennan yesterday because it was a bad day for Hank Brennan because he took the Fifth. Hank Brennan has a million different ways to prove Karen Read's guilty. I hope that the witness harassment is brought in, though, and it can be brought in without having Aiden Kearney as a witness. And frankly, when you put a psychopath like Aiden Kearney up on the stand, it can be very dangerous because they lie with such ease. And they're very charming, very superficially charming. I might not disagree with him so much that I've heard him testify. He doesn't come off terribly. Generally, he comes off well. A lot of times you don't believe what he's saying, but because I think he's lying. But this idea that he was dying to testify, this is how he sold it to his audience. Take a listen.
Like the trolls are celebrating. They're like, oh, Hank Brennan's going to get him, Hank. He's going to call. Oh, Daria Spanky. Oh, it's not going to work out the way you think it is, dude. I am the best witness ever. Go listen to Fake Victims Restraining Order hearing. I am cool under pressure. I stick to the facts. I have the facts on my side. I have God on my side. I have the people on my side. It's not good.
Do you know that liars often invoke God? Is God as my witness and God on my side? He has the truth on his side in this case. Really? Because for months, and if not a year or more, you said that you had no contact with Karen Read or her lawyers. Now we find out you're talking every day and you're being leaked information. But we're not supposed to see. You're supposed to have no memory. You have to really have the amnesia to be like a free Karen Reader. You have to forget what came before immediately.
And you give me that microphone. Oh my God.
Who does this sound like? Who does this sound like? I'm the best witness that ever was. No one can testify like I can in trial. Who does this sound like? Who does this sound like?
Bored and retired, threw myself into a high-profile trial, thirsty for attention and admiration. I'm the best expert in the entire nation. Get paid to lie by the hour, making stuff up is my superpower. I see dog bites. I see dog bites. Just pay me and I'll tell you they are dog bites. Limp to the stand, decked out let them fester. Oh, puncture wounds in the shirt. Testified to a great deal, I'm certain. Hell, they'll say anything. It's the prosecution that's got the burden. I'm the best expert that's ever been. Who else can testify to a dog bite by a canine without a chin? Don't need evidence to state my claims. There's a lot of hounds in the world. One's got to be blamed. I'll do anything to get rich and get off killers. Pay me extra, I'll blame gorillas.
Okay. Dude, doesn't that sound like Marie Russell? No one has the knowledge that she has on dogs, dog bites. Unreal. The narcissism from these psychopaths, because all psychopaths are also narcissists. They're the greatest, they're the best, they're the greatest at testifying. Who wants to be great at testifying? You know what I mean? Who even wants to testify in anything? Right? I mean, although I do want to be actually, you know what? I take that back. I do want to be an expert witness. I offer my services up for my years of hands-on feline experience. So far, no takers. I'm so shocked. No one wants to pay me $600 an hour with real life, day-to-day, day in, day out feline experience. Nobody wants to pay me. I'm so shocked. Anyway, so let's get into yesterday. Boy, that was a day not to be believed. Yesterday's hearing. So in comes Bradel. Let's just take a look at this. This is his moment to be the greatest witness. Here's Aiden Kearney's moment to be the greatest witness ever in the history of the world. Does he take it? Don't you think he'd be jumping up and putting himself center stage? So here's his attorney, Bradel.
Hear you. Let me just ask, Commonwealth, you're moving to, sorry, you stay right there, Mr. Bradel. Mr. Brennan, you're asking for sequestration on all the witnesses other than the ones that have already been decided, right?
I'm not sure I understand.
So there was already an order on who is exempt from the sequestration order, family members. We discussed, and there was an order on all of this.
Yes.
Are you asking that Aiden Kearney be sequestered?
I am. He's a named witness.
Okay. Does the Commonwealth intend to call him in your case in chief?
It depends on the development of the case. There are two issues that are important. The one in case in chief is whether or not there's any development of third-party culprit. If there is, Mr. Kearney becomes a more important witness, and we'll have to assess that as the case progresses. The other is rebuttal. If the defense calls the defendant to the stand, then it is strong likelihood that we would call Mr. Kearney.
Okay.
Those are two things that I can't anticipate at this time.
Okay. All right. Now I'll hear you, Mr. Bradel.
All right. Thank you very much, Your Honor. Judge, we don't have an offer of proof. I'll try to argue in the interest of time, and I think I know where the court's going with this, based on the prosecutor's statements and the context. So with that understanding, Judge, I would just start by saying that, there's really no reason to beat around the bush here, Your Honor. The Commonwealth is not going to call my client, Mr. Kearney, who for the record is in the second row here today.
Can I just ask, if he were to call your client, would he take the...
Tammy, are you talking about Hank Brennan's cufflinks? I do know how much they cost. Does that make me a stalker? I think I mentioned this yesterday. They're made by Jan Leslie. They're winking owl cufflinks, but they're no longer. They used to be sold at Bergdorf Goodman's, which is like Saks Fifth Avenue, but nicer, really. Here in New York, it's pretty much one of the nicest department stores we have. One of the old, we used to have a lot of these very high-end department stores, and Bergdorf Goodman's used to be Henry Bendel, Barney's, and now Bergdorf Goodman's one of the only ones left. A lot of unusual designer, beautiful things. Hermes scarves, things like that. And so here are Hank Brennan's. Here's his winking owl cufflinks. His are in red. I couldn't find a picture of them in red, but it's clearly the same. Pretty sure that those are the same cufflinks. They're enamel, winking owl. And at the time, they were like $300 in 2009, 2008, 2010, around that time. And now they're about $600, $700, something like that. My boyfriend wants a pair. You want a pair of the winking owl cufflinks by Jan Leslie? They're nice, right? He's a good dresser. He's a sharp dresser. So, yeah, you like him? I like cufflinks, too. I think they're nice. Sharp dress. I assumed he was gay because he's such a sharp dresser. Apparently not. Apparently just a sharp dresser. All right, here we go. Back to Bradel.
The 5th.
Yes, Judge. And I just should clarify for that.
Okay.
That is under the government's, the obviously well-established position of Norfolk County law enforcement. What we contend is a twisted interpretation of the witness intimidation statute that seeking to contact witnesses, seeking to question people is witness intimidation.
Okay, so just focus back on.
So the answer is yes. I'm sorry. The answer is yes, Judge.
Okay. So let me hear from you on that, Mr. Brennan.
Sure. Your Honor, under the government's interpretation of this statute, Your Honor, the government is seeking to first.
No, I'm sorry. What I said was I'll hear you.
Yeah, Bradel's jacket. Are you talking about Bradel's jacket? Looks ill-fitting. He's got that Italian suit cut with the huge shoulder pads that I don't know if it's all that becoming on men. I don't know. It's not particularly. I think a more form-fitting suit is a little bit nicer, but like you can see his shoulder. Yeah, it sort of has a big indentation where the big shoulder pad is.
Mr. Brennan, and you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But that's okay. I don't want to hear about the witness intimidation statute, other than.
So here's Aiden Kearney right in the corner there, which confused me because his girlfriend Meredith O'Neill is like 5 people away from him. I would thought they were sitting together, but he's in a suit. Nothing preventing him from testifying, and he's letting his lawyer do all the talking, which is fine, which is smart, especially if you're guilty. But come on. He says it's not going to look good for Hank. I can't wait to get there up on the stand. And then he wimps out. I mean, it's the ultimate wimpy move to take the 5th. If he really has nothing to hide, take the 5th. Try your best. If he really had the truth on his side.
If I don't sequester your client, I would be inclined to do just like I did before. The witnesses who are the subject of the indictments, Mr. Kearney will have to be outside the courtroom when they testify.
Right, but I'll let him report on a case of which he's done enormous damage by harassing the witnesses. Another judge would never let him set foot in the courtroom. It's absurd. He's already leaked out pictures from Perspective jurors, of jurors' backs of their heads and defining features. Nothing happens to him. And no wonder he got all these. He was just, there was so much permissiveness in this area around his criminal behavior. Finally, they had enough, and he just got witness harassment charge after witness harassment charge. But he should have never been allowed to. Once you start harassing the witnesses in the case that you're reporting on, you're going to be invited into the courtroom. I don't care that you're in front of the person or not. It's the case. You've already done damage to this case. So much damage. And Judge Kearney, oh, please, what more can I do for you, Mr. Kearney and Mr. Kearney's lying, awful, repulsive lawyer? What can I do for you? What can I do more for you? I'm repulsed. I'm repulsed by these lawyers. Ditto Judge Kearney. I mean, morally vague doesn't cover it. They seem to be lacking. Their moral compass is totally absent, broken, gone. Because your priority should be to protect the non-psychopathic, the feeling public that has been victim to Aiden Kearney, Karen Read, and her lawyer's innocence fraud campaign that has permeated this town and torn it apart and brainwashed so many people and corrupted the legal process. Please, Mr. Kearney, please let me invite you back into the courtroom so you can help corrupt the legal process some more. Because deep down, these lawyers like Alan Jackson and David Unetti, they hate our legal system. They hate it. They show such contempt for it, the way that I don't want to even say practice law. That would be giving them too much. The way they corrupt our legal system with their criminal behavior shows such contempt and hatred. It's deeply, deeply anti-American. They hate it. They want to live in a world where criminals get away with it. Especially killers and predators. Yes. Kevin Spacey, right on. Harvey Weinstein, how can I help you out? Marianne Alexander's killer. Roland Douglas Finney, let me get you out of prison after 10 years. Sure, you were a sexual deviant and a deranged psycho killer. It's a miracle I got you out with the fraud that I got you out on hearsay evidence. And then I can use it in this trial because I've created precedents. Seriously, something's got to be done with about these lawyers. I think they're more dangerous than the criminals that they represent.
We anticipated that, Your Honor, and I won't say that we would agree to that, but I understand the court's position there, and I can see that would be a resolution the court might land on.
Okay. Now I'm going to let Mr. Brennan speak, and then I'll hear you again, Mr. Bradel.
Thank you.
Your Honor, you have questions?
Yes. What if he takes the fifth?
If he asserts his Fifth Amendment privilege, I think there is no realistic likelihood that we would call him. There's obviously procedures the Commonwealth could follow, but I have no belief that will happen. So I expect if he actually asserts his Fifth Amendment privilege, I would no longer have a good faith basis to say that there would be a need for sequestration. I would ask the court to impose the prior limitations with named victims and also minor witnesses.
Okay.
But I would, as a predicate, he would need to assert his fifth.
What happened? What happened? Hank Brennan was supposed to be so corrupt, and this was just a fake way to. This is what Aiden Kearney said about Hank Brennan, and they all parrot each other, and all the other supporters of John O'Keefe's killer. This is Hank Brennan's way. He's done this in other cases. Really, which ones? He'll just put you on the witness list if he doesn't want you in the courtroom. He doesn't want to call me up as a witness. That was his other bravado. This is what must be what he tells himself. I'll never get called. I'll never have to be publicly humiliated. By after years of pointing the finger and saying corruption, everyone's corrupt, everyone has something to hide. I'm the only one taking the fifth. I saw someone on X saying no other witnesses in this case have taken the fifth. Chloe happily gave her teeth impressions. No, Chloe didn't happily give her teeth impressions. She had to be put to sleep, sedated to get her teeth impressions, which is another way that this Karen Read and her innocence fraud campaign has been so predatory. Not just, it's gone from humans to animals have to be punished and put through an ordeal to dispute her lying lawyers and her ridiculous innocence fraud campaign. Just done with this. I'm done with this. What I've seen in this case is so deeply, deeply disturbing. I mean, every American should be seriously disturbed if they're watching this trial by what's going on in the case. And instead we have people like what? Look at Melanie Little. It's just hot minute. You gotta see this nonsense. This is what she's telling her audience. That's how she's propagandizing her audience. It's gotten so bad. Hank Brennan's so bad. How dare he ask for discovery? If this were the Commonwealth, they would never stop screaming. Why no one on our side is demanding that Alan Jackson and David Yannetti have their law license taken bewilders me. So easy to do. Everyone should be reporting them. Everyone cares about our legal system. They've gone so beyond the rules of their profession that they should not have the privilege of practicing law ever again. So if you think this is the first time they've done this stuff, hiding discovery, lying about paying witnesses, doubtful that this is the first time. Another way they get your phone and try to embarrass you by the things on your phone. That's the way Alan Jackson worked in Kevin Spacey's case and got his case dismissed in Rhode Island, I believe it was. Correct me if I'm wrong.
This is gross. It's gross. If you're just joining this trial for the first time, it has gotten so much grosser since Hank Brennan was.
No, it's gotten so much grosser. It's been about at the same level of grossness. The lying and the obscuring of witnesses, presenting witnesses to the jury's unbiased. Witnesses hired by the feds, not paid for by the defense when they were hired and paid for by the defense. We couldn't talk to them, Your Honor. We can't hand over discovery. We're going to put up 3 witnesses on the stand we've never talked to. Really? Yeah, that's essentially it, Your Honor. It's David Yannetti to Judge Kearney. Oh, wait. Oh, here's all these emails between you crafting the ARCA testimony. Well, yeah, what we meant was that we didn't hire them. They weren't paid at the time. And when ARCA said they couldn't talk to us, we didn't talk to them. There was a pause in our communication. So that means that we couldn't talk to them and they weren't hired and retained and paid for by us. Just ignore the $23,925 bill that was paid by Karen Read's legal team. This stuff is outrageous. And I know Melanie Little is an out-of-work actress and out-of-work lawyer, and she's using some of her acting chops here with her heavy filter. She looks like she's gotten so thin. Hope she's okay. But what the heck is she talking about? Listen again.
This is gross. It's gross. If you're just joining this trial for the first time, it has gotten so much grosser since Hank Brennan was hired as the hired gun to prosecute this case. It has gotten so much grosser because he plays dirty. Lally tried the entire case himself.
Right. Lally tried to expose the defense, but he didn't. It's only Hank Brennan that exposed the defense. And he didn't do it in a dirty way. The defense handed over the discovery, and he publicly announced it. Now we all know about the emails. And these free Karen readers are so brainwashed. They said, well, Hank Brennan said that it would have been nice to know that most pedestrian vehicle accidents happen at night. But he did know in the voir dire, a day before Adam Lally knew, a day before trial. That was helpful. No time to get an expert witness to rebut it. Do they not see the disadvantage you're at? They think that 24 hours notice is notice enough. I don't even know if they understand what they're saying. They just repeat they all repeat the same talking points, these free Karen readers.
Last time, Adam Lally, the guy with the shark fin hairdo, and he was a little dopey, but he wasn't evil. He wasn't evil. He wasn't that smart, but he did the whole thing himself. And he really, this guy is just evil and he's dirty and he's loose and he has no morals or ethics, and it's disgusting.
Wow, it sounds like you're describing the defense. Do you notice how these are just a barrage of insults with not one example? I can tell you when I'm talking about corruption in the defense team and lying lawyers and why I think David Yannetti and Alan Jackson are a liar, I have my reasons. They're leaking out information to Turtleboy, their relationship with Turtleboy. They're leaking out information to Turtleboy, to Gretchen Voss, saying, don't write about this yet. We're going to put it in an unrelated motion and then write about it. Them playing this out in the court of public opinion and not the court because they knew they couldn't win in the court. That's cheating to win. That's being dirty. And Adam Lally is not stupid. He's quite bright. He's not a performer. That's very different. It's not one of these made-for-TV lawyers. Read his filings. They're very sharp. He brought up a lot of the same things Hank Brennan did, but got nowhere with them. Strangely, they needed someone with Hank Brennan's name for Judge Kearney to even okay a few motions for the Commonwealth. And you notice we never heard last trial, anything about Judge Kearney being so biased, so unfair to the Commonwealth. It's only this time. Because last time, she ruled almost 80-20 to the Commonwealth, to the defense. So 80% yes to the defense, 20% yes to the Commonwealth. And the free count readers loved it. Maybe even more, maybe 90-10. Now it's closer to maybe, I don't know, 60-40. 60 defense, 40 Commonwealth, or 60 Commonwealth, 40. I mean, closest to 50-50. But bizarro issue, bizarro rulings. Like you're going to let Richard Green testify to things that have been totally debunked. I mean, come on.
So welcome if you haven't watched this trial the first time, because you're in for some must-see TV.
I didn't even know I could do this as a YouTuber. I can just say things and not back them up with anything. Welcome to the trial, guys. David Yannetti might be a secret CIA agent. Can I just say that with no proof? Maybe. I don't know. I'm just joking. I just didn't even know you could do things like that. Just say things. Just disparage people with no proof. People believe you. Hey, Manny. What's up? I missed so much. A quick recap of all motions are good and bad. Little bit of both. A little too late from the Commonwealth. So the Commonwealth, the defense has to hand over their discovery by tomorrow at 5 and hand over anything about new testing by the 21st. But trial starts next Tuesday. It's a little too late. Hank Brennan has been asking for discovery. And while the Commonwealth has met all their discovery obligations, the defense has not. And this is the same thing they did last trial. And the remedy for that, or the sanctions for that, were these voir dires that we had with Marie Russell and the ARCA witnesses. And they're a big nothing burger, because the Commonwealth doesn't really have the information to ask the right questions. So it's just, and Alan Jackson said he wasn't going to let them get 2 bites at the apple and all this stuff, made demands. You can see, though, that this is a kind of limping defense team, I think. Appreciate it, Manny. Also, that their expert, Jim Crosby, who is a real expert in dog bites, has testified in many, many trials about dog bites. He took a mold of Chloe's mouth, but cannot say that the wounds on John O'Keefe's arm didn't come from Chloe, but he can talk about different areas of the dog's mouth and basically hint around it. It's just so curious. The judge puts a ruling like that, and if the Commonwealth did it anyway, what would happen? Would it be a mistrial? But the defense just flagrantly ignores the judge's ruling, and nothing happens. Like in the opening, they weren't supposed to open on third-party culprit, and Yannetti opens on Karen Read was framed, and nothing happens. So it's definitely two very different standards here.
Do you need that to be done formally, or do you want it to be done formally?
I do.
Mr. Bradel, do you want to do that now?
Judge, I'm happy to assert that on his behalf.
So here Hank Brennan says, all I want Aiden Kearney to do is get up in front of everyone and says he's going to take the fifth. And Judge Kearney again capitulates to the defense and does it in sidebar. I hate to, spoiler alert. Please hit the thumbs up, share this episode, subscribe to the channel. This is listener supported. And I rely on you to help me make these episodes. So I appreciate it. All those things are hugely helpful.
We'd reject that invitation. If he wants to assert the Fifth Amendment privilege, he can assert it.
Okay. Do you want to call him now and do that now, Mr. Bradel, or not? Do you want to talk with your client? And
7 minutes.
sure. Why don't you know what? I'll give you more than a minute, Mr. Bradel. Can the staff work through lunch for a little bit?
Yes.
Everybody stay. All right. Mr. Bradel, why don't I give you 10 minutes to talk to him? We'll see you back here in 10 minutes.
All rise for the court, please.
So I'll spare you this, but he does it at sidebar, basically. So that'll give you an idea. He's supposed to be the best witness that's ever been, but it all happens at sidebar. Also, in other news, this is really curious. A bunch of people picked up on this. I don't even know why I have this. I was supposed to be organizing my bookmarks, but I don't. Everything all goes into one thing. This was picked up by Innocence Fraud Watch. And Alan Jackson tells Karen Read to stay. Like, so I guess he means stay still. He doesn't want them following her to her car, I guess. And he doesn't think it looks good for her to walk and talk. And maybe also that she's not as focused when she walks and talks. But he's telling her to stay like a dog in this clip. Listen to this.
We're happy with the whole process today.
Karen, how do you feel about Hank Brennan planning to use? We're happy with the whole process today.
Did you hear that? And Innocence Fraud Watch asked if that will count as an extrajudicial statement. Did he violate the gag order? Yes, no. By telling Karen Read to stay in front of a bunch of reporters.
We're happy with the whole process today.
Do you hear it? At first I thought he was saying stop. But if you listen with headphones, he's saying stay.
We're happy with the whole process today. Karen, how do you feel about Hank Brennan planning to use? We're happy with the whole process today. Karen, how do you feel about Hank Brennan planning to use? We're happy.
Stay. What is going on between those two? Well, no, not hold on. Not like a light tap on the back. Stay. What is going on? All right, I'm going to take a quick break. I think a pretty short one today. When we get back, we can just wrap it all up. Don't go anywhere. See you in 2 minutes.
Mic check, Roberta strides through the static haze. True crime Gotham where the shadows play their plays. Fraudsters fold when a spotlight beams. Fact focused queen busting propaganda schemes. Glass shatter lies echoes through the streets. Standing for victims, giving voice their beats. NYC Post, truth sharp as night. Roberta exposing she's the anti-fraud light. Hard task warrior, dissecting state and defense. Twisted innocence, claims breaking pretense. Gotham's truth seeker cuts clean with the blade. Facts in the forefront, no justice gets swayed. Cold facts drip heavy, real talk unfurls. Cracking cases open like oysters with pearls. Innocence gimmicks crumble to dust in the wind. For victims, her creed, justice till the end. drops heavy artillery. Narratives twisted, meet blunt object civility. Roberta got receipts that unravel the ploy, exposing the lies these fraudsters deploy. Glass shatters lies, echoes through the streets, standing for victims, giving voice their beats. NYC Pulse, truth sharp as night. Roberta exposing she's the anti-fraud light.
Yeah, Barb is mentioning Unetta left yesterday. What do you think that was about? More clients? Or is it they just look tired? They look up, they look over it. Defense looks like they're dreading this trial. Someone mentioned on Twitter that they looked like they had big lumps on their face. Where they asked if they were getting beat up by Karen Read. Anything's possible. There's certainly a rumor that Karen Read lit her ex-boyfriend's car on fire and she held a knife to another boyfriend's neck. And I wonder if we're going to see any of those evidence of prior bad acts in this case. I don't know. Is it going to come in? And isn't it curious that she blames this on a dog, and then Karen Read she blames John O'Keefe's wounds that came from Karen Read backing into John O'Keefe, clipping him, not hitting him head on, clipping him 24 miles an hour in reverse with her foot 75% down on the gas pedal with her infotainment system beeping and flashing at her. She could have missed it. Isn't it odd that the one police report we do have is of Karen Read screaming when a neighbor's dog would bark, and even just for a tiny little bit? I mean, I live next to a dog that hates to be alone and sometimes will bark, for hours on end. And it's like a terrible owner. We have a doggy daycare right next to us. I don't understand it. But this is 5 minutes or less of barking, and Karen Read's in a fury. And why didn't Hank Brennan subpoena her sister too? So we have her sister-in-law. I want to know what Karen Read's sister knows. So Caitlin Boudreaux is on the witness list to testify for the Commonwealth. She's the one who was caught staring at Karen Read's smash to smithereens tail light on the 29th. And she was in a few of these hearings in the beginning and hasn't been back. We never see her with Nathan Read. She was the wife of Nathan Read. Did they get a divorce? Are they still together? Has she stopped supporting Karen and they're still together? I'd love to know what she has to say on the stand. Also coming up, these are the witnesses I'd like to hear from that are on the witness list. Natalie Bernschneider-Wawicki. So she was the intermediary. She went to school with Karen Read. Not super close friends, but supported Karen Read from the get-go and was the intermediary. I've played her tape with the police where I think she's telling about 1/3 of what she knows. She ever told what she really knows and her part in it. I think she's way too narcissistic and self-protective to ever tell the full truth. But if she ever told the full truth, it would be a jaw dropper. Believe me, that's a witness that I'm looking forward to in the trial. Very curious to see Karen Read's father on the stand. I think he'll lie. I've been predicting he'll lie. He says he'll tell the whole truth. The whole family tells the whole truth. Well, what other truth is there to tell but the whole truth? No one was saying, oh, are you going to take the stand to tell part of the truth? I think he might tell a little bit of the truth and a lot of lies on the stand. He will lie to protect his daughter. We've already seen him lie. And I've made my case that he was the mastermind, may have been the mastermind behind the love tap. Karen Read talks to her father, and then he's like, well, you have a broken taillight and you hit John O'Keefe and he's dead. Well, you better hit something and make an alibi for how you got your taillight hit, because they're both criminally minded. And then she's backing in and love tapping with her car, John O'Keefe's car, right after getting off the phone with her father. So curious how he'll hold up under cross. Hey, Tammy. Hi, Gizzy. Is it a rumor that you were invited third time on court TV? True or false? How'd you know that? Maybe, Tammy, maybe. Who told you that? I didn't tell. So maybe next week. I might be on next week. Might. I don't know yet. I might be on next week. Were you just guessing? Did you just out me by guessing? I plead the fifth. I should have pled the fifth, right? Circle only one. I can't. I don't know. I was asked, but I don't know yet. I haven't nailed down a date. So I'll let you know. I don't know. Maybe my last time on court TV. I'm so, you know what I mean? I'm so angry about the way that this trial is being conducted. And anybody who cares about our legal system should be horrified by what's going on in Massachusetts. Not by the corruption from the Commonwealth, but by the very real corruption by innocence fraudsters, David Yannetti, Alan Jackson, Karen Read. We expect to act like a criminal. She is a criminal. She's an accused murderer. Expect her to act like a criminal. We don't expect our judges and our lawyers, maybe we do expect a little bit, but not at this level, to act like criminals and absolutely just take the law and just rip it up. It shows such absolute contempt for our legal system, the way David Yannetti and Alan Jackson, Robert Alessi, Elizabeth Little are practicing. I don't even want to say practicing the law, are behaving, because they're not practicing the law, because they can't win. They can only cheat to win. So that's what I have for today. Please hit the thumbs up, support the channel. Best bang for your buck is on Venmo. Send a donation via Venmo, buy me a coffee, or become a member on Patreon and get access to exclusive content you can find nowhere else. Please hit the thumbs up on your way out. Subscribe to the channel. Share this episode with your family and friends. Very important. I'm only one person. I have no PR, no team. So I count on you to help spread the word. I will see you back here. I'm off tomorrow. I'll see you back here. It's Saturday at 6 p.m. Have a great night, everyone. Thanks for listening.
I hit my boy.
clown. Innocence fraud campaign to save my skin. Making money, truth is my second victim. Carry, Jen, like John, you were my mom. My innocence fraud campaign is my biggest hit yet. I hit my boyfriend with my car. It wasn't an accident, but with lying lawyers I'll go far. Lying lawyers and witness harassment, I'll avoid prison. It was snowing. I pushed the pedal down, hit him hard. Now the legal system, my clown. Innocence fraud campaign to save my skin. Making money, truth is my second victim. Carry, Jen, like John, you were my mark. My innocence fraud campaign is my biggest hit yet. John, you